Welcome back to MDL Crochet for our weekly stitch tutorial. This week's stitch is going to be called the Tunisian Twisted Simple Stitch. It is similar to the Tunisian Simple Stitch. However, there's a little twist to it, hence the name. Now let's go ahead and put our new yarn on. Tighten this old one down. Tighten that down a little bit. Now this is how we're going to do this. You need to get those ends out of the way. You can take your needle. Remember, we never worked in the first row yet. Now you take your needle and you grab your first post. Drop your needle towards your work where the hook is actually towards the work. Grab your first post, push your needle through, and there you are. Now you yarn over and pull through. That is the base of the stitch. You're going to do this all the way down. And you can see it's creating a little twist there. And it is, like I said, it is a slower stitch. And if you're wanting to use this stitch by itself on a project, of course you start with the normal foundation row, the chain, work through the back hoops like it's in the basics and intro to Tunisian video. And then you create your foundation row, and then you just start doing this. There are going to be some stitches that we're not going to add to this swatch because they add more stitches than this 20 stitch swatches do. Sorry, I had to move some stuff out of the way there. And we'll get to those. They'll be their own little swatches. But you can see the twisting action it's doing. And you're going to do this all the way down to the end. And the end is going to be the normal end. And it is more time consuming. It's one of those stitches you're also going to have to play with your tension some. So you can do a little bit looser of a tension so you can actually get your needle into the stitch, into the post to be able to twist it. If it's a tighter tension, you're going to do some work. You may have to put some elbow grease in there to get that around in there. But when it works up, it's a nice stitch. I haven't really used it in any projects, but I have a feeling I'm going to in a project that I have coming up. And there we are. And then you drop down, just do your normal end, push through, grab, loop one, chain one, pull through two. It's a normal return pass. All right, so now we're gonna go start building up here. So you put your needle down, grab that loop, twist, pull through. And you can kind of see when you're working it that it's starting to pull on that other. That's why these need to be a little bit looser. Sorry, I missed that. There we go. There we go. I was having an issue there for a second. It's like my needle didn't want to catch it. Or I'm catching something else. I don't know. I split the yarn. And that's going to happen. You know, there's a certain brand of yarn I love, and that's what I use. Now, with that brand, it does have a little bit more of a splitting ability, but I like the softness of that yarn, of that brand. And the color palettes that they have out, I like. There's some brands that I find they're a little too stiff until you wash them. And with Tunisian, you know, that can be an issue. Especially if they're stiff, because then you feel it on your needle and you hear it. Like you can feel the vibration through your needle, and it just gives you those chills. Like fingernails being dragged down a chalkboard. But I work with acrylic. I know it's not environmentally friendly. However, I'm allergic to wool, and I'm not one of those itchy allergic to wool. I'm one of those hive allergic to wool. So I'm not gonna be sitting here doing videos working with wool on Benadryl, because I'm not gonna crochet nothing then. All right, let's drop down, poke through, and then you pull through your loop, and then you chain one, and it's a normal return pass. Cotton, most of the cotton I've worked with, I don't like, because it screeches against my needle. No matter how smooth your needles are, I get it on my metal needles and I get it on my wooden needles. And it gives me that feeling of when nails are dragged down a chalkboard. That's the feeling I get. So I tend to stick, because of the itching or the hives, with wool, and the weird feeling of fingernails down a chalkboard with cotton, I stick to acrylic. And yes, I am on a budget like everybody, so acrylic is cheaper. In my opinion, one acrylic lasts a lot longer. And I don't have, the gifts that I give out when I crochet stuff, or when people commission me to do stuff, they tend to keep them for a long time. I haven't had any of my stuff thrown away. I still have blankets out there that I've made with Tunisian, 9 years ago, that people are still using constantly. There's beanies that I've made that people still constantly wear. Ear warmers, whatnot. As long as you make a product and you tie it off correctly and weave in the ends, it can last a long time. And teach the people you're giving it to how to wash the product. Especially with acrylic, you can wash it on gentle, and I always add a little bit of fabric softener. It helps it be softer against the skin. It helps get your stuff off of it when you're working on it. And then also teach them how to dry it. Tumble dry, no heat, or just hang dry it. Because if they add heat, it's going to peel up. And if you get those little pills, it's a nightmare. You'll have to get a shaver, and then, oh man, it's a nightmare. So hook down, pull that loop, push in, twist. This is all this stitch is. And it creates a really nice little pattern. And it's actually one of those tighter stitches that has a lot less of a airflow. Now, if you do basic crochet and you're making, let's say, a sweater or ear warmers or beanies, they're not going to be as warm with acrylic. They would be warm with the other materials, but I can't use the other materials. However, with Tunisian, when you're making them, they're going to be warm, because you don't have those gaps that regular crochet has. Because with Tunisian, the way with the return pass, you're closing that gap off, and you're creating pretty much almost a solid piece of fabric. There's going to be some stitches where there's really not. You're going to see, and we'll get into those later down the line. But, all right, we're at the end, so drop down and push through. Grab your yarn, loop one, chain one, and pull through two. But you're going to notice the difference with Tunisian. It is a lot of a warmer fabric. I've done a couple of sweaters, and I swear those things are rated for the Arctic, because the sweater I made, for me, I wore when we were in I think it was like -12 outside, and I had my beanie that I made and my sweater and a coat on, and a coat, and I was hot. And I took the coat off, and I was still hot, sweating. So those sweaters are really warm. And I did it in a knit stitch, so it closed off a lot more gaps and it had some stretchiness to it. So we're back into another row. So you grab hold, twist. All right, grab it, push your needle through, twist, bingo. And we're gonna do this again, all the way down. There we go. All right, we're at the end, so we're gonna drop down, push through, and bingo. Chain 1, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. All right, so we'll do one more row together, and then I'll let y'all finish up, and we'll meet back up and just talk about the stitch some more. But let's go ahead and get this next row in. So drop your hook, or change your hook's orientation to where the actual hooky part is at the loop, and then you can just pull that loop up, boom, and then yarn. I couldn't grab it. Yarn over, and you're gonna do that all the way down again. So let's get her done. And I know I said earlier, there's a brand of yarn that I work with, and I'm not gonna say that brand because, well, they don't pay me. Nobody pays me, so I'm not gonna give them free advertisement. But it's really nice, and it's an off brand. It's a store brand, and it comes from the green and white store. I think they're white. And it's their brand, and I like it. I like their brand a lot. I just kind of wish they did more variegated type colors, but they have a lot of colors. Okay, almost at the end. These are getting a little tough. My tension, I made it a little tight than it needs to be for the stitch. All right, we're at the end, drop down, push through, bingo, grab your yarn, one loop in, now we chain over, or chain 1, and then now we pull through 2. Ooh, I pulled through 2. Again. Man, I'm off my game today. All right, if y'all could go ahead and do 5 more by yourselves, and then we'll meet up and talk together about this. All right, I'll see you here in a few minutes. All right, we're finishing up the last few stitches here. So there you are. There you have it. That is the Twisted Simple stitch. Some give, but you can actually see the twist there. I like that. It gives it a little elasticity a little bit. I like that. It kind of looks like hearts. So tell me what y'all think about this stitch. And remember to, if you can, like and subscribe these videos. It'll help me continue making content for you guys. And remember to keep stitching.